Hi, this is Chuck with the Phyg Pharm in Royal, Arkansas, at Central Arkansas, growing zone 7B. We had a really rough winter this year, more like zone 6, I guess you'd say. All of my outdoors figs were all frozen right down to the ground. I did have some that I'm about to show you here, that are in pots that I kept in the greenhouse over winter, and they're actually doing quite well. So we'll just turn around and have a look at those right now. This is my potted figs. All of these were kept in the greenhouse last year. We'll start out looking at several of them. Today is May the 19th, I believe. And this is a Chicago hardy plant. It's in a 15-gallon bucket. And this plant, we should look at all of the figs that are developing on it. I've got figs all over it, basically like at every joint. My Chicago hardies have always been my most productive trees here. But this one looks like it is going to be really productive this year. Right next to it, I have an Olympian, and I have a number of different ones of these. And like the Chicago hardy, it has some little small figlets that are developing on it. As you can probably see these here at the junctures of the leaf. They're just developing on there and doing well. To the right of this is my in-pot Celeste tree. It also is starting to produce. It does not have a lot of figlets on it yet, but it's starting to produce them, and I'm very hopeful that it's going to be producing more. It looks like there's more developing further down on the plant. The others that are here, there is a Violet de Bordeaux, a Black Madeira. Over there is a Naples Dark that has developing figs on it. So it's going to be developing. I see a number of small figs on it. Adjacent to these are two. These are new trees. The one on the left here, these are 15-gallon pots. The one on the left is a Fig Nominal. The one on the right is a Beers Black. Now, I raised two of each of these, and I will show you the other two here shortly. Those other two I put out and planted them so that they would be maturing outside. These two I kept in the pots, and I will return them to the greenhouse this winter. On the last episode here, I showed you my outdoors fig trees that are all frozen down to the ground. This is May the 19th, and this is my Chicago hardy, one of my large Chicago hardies that froze all the way to the ground, and you can see that it is coming back. It's right now up to about 2.5 feet tall. I suspect that it'll probably grow to 8 or 9 feet tall by the end of the year. They usually do. I've not seen any new figs on this yet, but we'll probably be producing them shortly. This tree is a white Marseille, and I had great hopes for it when I put it out here, but now I've had it in the ground in this protected location this is the 3rd year actually. I've not gotten a single fig off of it, so If it doesn't produce this year, I'm going to assume that it's just not very appropriate for this area, and put something. I'll probably put one of the Olympians in this place instead. The trees that I'm showing you right now they were kept in the greenhouse over the winter. This one we're looking at, this is a Petite Negra. The Petite Negra is supposed to be a dwarf fig, and we're going to see how this produces it. I've gotten some breba off of the mother plant of this last year, and I'm hoping that this is going to develop. I'm planting this right next to the stone wall in order to get as much heat possible, and I'll be easily able to cover it. This is a fig nominal. It's like the other one that I showed you. This was transplanted here just recently, and this will be its home out here in the ground for the future. But this one does have a few developing little figs on it. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's figs developing on it. This is a Beer's Black. This Beer's Black, like the other two, it was just transplanted to this spot recently. This is one of my Chicago hardy plants. This is one that was put out late last summer, and it was doing well, but it got zapped by the cold weather, so it's having to grow back from the beginning. I don't expect that I'll get very much out of this, but it may produce a few figs. I don't know. We'll see. Over here, right next to these berry plants, this is a yellow longneck. This yellow longneck, all of the plants that I'm showing you here were all put out last summer, and they were all frozen back all the way to the ground, absolutely nothing above the ground. But this is a yellow longneck. This one is a Naples Dark. Naples Dark appears to be a very, very, very vigorous grower in this location. It's doing very well, but it's got a lot of recovery to go. On the last video I had, all of these figs here, this Naples Dark, this other Naples Dark here, this one was nothing but just a couple of little tiny leaves the last video, and now as you can see it's grown up. It's at least 2 feet tall, growing like crazy. Here is another Petite Negra. This one, I don't believe the leaves, when I showed it before, were even above that little that black ground cover, and so it's coming back. I lost out of about 20 some odd figs out here. All of them were frozen back, and as you can see, all of these are they're coming back again. This one is a Peter's Honey, and it's growing back along with the others. This is an Olympian, and this is an unknown Texas fig. When I got it, I was told it was a Texas red fig, but I have not been able to find anything, so I suspect that it is probably a Texas ever-bearing fig, but I'm not really sure because, like I said, I don't really have a good definition of the variety there. This one, this is a LSU purple. I've had several LSU purples, and none of them have done very well. This one is well, about all I can say is it's alive. It looks like it's going to grow back. The winter kill here was really very disappointing. This next fig is a Violet de Bordeaux, and it's just like the others. It was killed all the way to the ground, but it is coming back. When I last showed it, this was only like 2 inches tall a few weeks ago. As you can see now, it's about 3 feet tall. This is a golden rainbow. It's supposed to be very, very similar to a yellow longneck, and I'm holding a lot of hope for it. It looks like it's as vigorous as it's growing. It may produce some figs for me this year. I'm headed over now. This was the largest of my trees. This is a Chicago Hardy. This tree has been planted out here for 3 years. The first winter, it was killed all the way back to the ground. It grew back, and it and the other large Chicago Hardy that I showed you a few minutes ago grew back to over 9 feet tall, and they produced a couple of gallons of figs last year and a gallon of figs the year before. But every year it's gotten frozen back. I did cover this one this year, so it didn't get frozen back all the way to the ground, but almost. This tree is one that was kept in the greenhouse last year. Not sure of the variety. Let's see. Okay, this is an Olympian. It's an Olympian, and I placed it in this particular area because this particular spot right here gets more sun than almost anywhere else in my yard out here. And so I wanted to give it the best possible chance. I've got another Olympian that we're headed toward right now. The one I just showed you stayed in the greenhouse last year, so it actually is in. This was a larger plant, but it got frozen back. Now it's up about 18 inches, almost 2 feet tall, and it's coming back. We'll see how it fares. It's got some spots on it that appear that they're going to have some figs on this one, but they're not. It hasn't really started developing. It has just 2 little spots there. This is another Violet de Bordeaux. It was absolutely nothing at all. And here, this was a Peter's Honey. And this one is the only fig that I had out here that did not survive. It is not coming back. Out of about 2 dozen plants, this one has not made it at all. So I'll have to think about it and put something else in that location. This is an unknown LSU variety. I don't know whether it's LSU Champagne, which I suspect that may be what it is. Either it's LSU Champagne or it could be an LSU Purple. I'm not really sure. But I rescued this at my niece's home and trying to develop it here. It was almost completely dead at her home. So I rescued it, kept it in the greenhouse for a while, and planted it outside, and then we had a rough winter. So it's coming back, doing a lot better than it was doing at my niece's house, at least. This is another Chicago Hardy. It's almost 3 feet tall. It was killed all the way back to the ground and is recovering now. This one is another example of the Naples Dark. Very, very vigorous grower. I didn't see any. I just checked this yesterday and I didn't see any developing figs, and I don't see any on it here. The one that's in the potted plant down on the patio, that one has quite a few developing figs on it, but that one stayed in the greenhouse. This one stayed out here where it got frozen. This is another yellow long neck, and next to this one is another of my golden rainbows. Some people say the yellow long neck and the golden rainbow are the same fig. I don't know. We'll find out, because here I've got two of them that are just right next door to one another, so we should be able to tell from that. Here is my Celeste. This tree, I wrapped all of these last winter. This tree actually survived without being completely grown up all the way to the ground, but very close to it. And it's recovering, but it's recovering quite slowly. It's unfortunately, the location I have for this one is not ideal. It does not get as much sun as I would like for it to. I very well may move this tree later to a more sunny location. This one is a black mission fig. I don't know how well it's going to do, but we'll see. I'll give it a shot. Well, there you have it. My 2023 beginning of the summer after a disastrous winter kill. So if you've had a winter kill this year, and apparently a lot of people have, then just be patient. Some of these trees take a little longer to recover than others. Like I said, I had like 2 dozen out here that were killed all the way down to the ground, and all have recovered except 2. And those 2, it looks like there's no chance for them, but they're only 2 out of the 2 dozen. Have a really great day, and I hope you have a wonderful year growing figs.